D-Day, June 6, 1944, a date which will live in infamy. At 03:15 hours, Reveille was announced. At this time, the 1st Battalion Queen's Own Rifles of Canada was poised to assault Juno Beach, Nan White sector, which was in front of a small French seaside village of Banières-sur-Mer. At 0500 hours, A and B companies, each made up of 129 riflemen, with 3 men from the Canadian Field Artillery FU team and 6 men from the Royal Canadian Engineers demolition teams transferred onto 10 landing craft assault, which were manned by the Royal Marines. At 06, the order to head to the beaches was given. With rough seas, the support of the duplex drive Sherman tanks could not be launched, so A and B companies were going in alone. As A and B companies started their inbound to the beaches, the supporting fire from the artillery guns, ships, and aircraft started to soften up the beach defenses. At 0805, the order was sent to land. A company on the right, B company on the left, touched down at 0812 hours. The center between the two companies was the railway station or Canada House. As soon as the LCAs approached the beach, several LCAs hit mines, but casualties were light. The beach, a total of 200 yards in depth or so, from the water's edge to the sea wall, was swept with enemy enfilade fire. But with the riflemen rushing over the seawall, which was about 8 feet tall, the enemy defenses were quickly silenced minus a few. B Company, landing in front of the main enemy pillboxes, took heavy casualties. Doug Hester of B Company would write, "Then we saw the 5 pillboxes on top of the seawall. These were our first objectives. About 500 yards out, they had us in their sights of their small arms and began shooting. When the craft got into shallower water, the Royal Marines lowered the door. The 3 in front of me, including Doug Reed, were hit and killed. By luck, I jumped out between bursts into their rising blood. Cold and soaking wet. I caught up to Gibby. The first burst went through his backpack. He turned his head, grinning at me, and said, 'That was close, Dougie.' The next burst killed him." With the beach defenses mostly silenced, the lead company made their way into the town, starting house-to-house fighting, with the remainder of the leading companies consolidating on the south side of the town. At 8:30, C and D companies and battalion headquarters landed. Half of the LCAs struck mines, but by a miracle, few of the men were wounded and all swam or waded ashore. B Squadron, Fort Garry Horse, also landed at this time. Soon after getting off the beach, they moved forward to link up with the consolidated companies of the Queen Zone on the south side of Banières-sur-Mer. By 9 a.m., Banières-sur-Mer had mainly been cleared. C and D companies passing through A and what was left of B companies, the advance inland started. With the advance started, a German 88mm gun opened up on the self-propelled artillery guns of the 14th Field Regiment, Royal Canadian Artillery. With a detachment of the Queen Zone riding on a tank, outflanked the position and silenced the gun. With this, the advance started again. Leading the way was the Regiment de la Chaudière. With minor resistance, the Chaudières and the Queen Zone made their way inland, reaching their D-Day objectives around 1730 hours, which was the Angerny Heights. With the D-Day objectives reached, one last action took place. The carrier platoon under Lieutenant Biggs occupied. After a sharp fight, they would capture the contour Hill 70, but the Big 2 hill to the carrier platoon. After the longest day, casualties for the battalion were heavy. In fact, the heaviest suffered by any Canadian unit that day. 61 other ranks had been killed in action and died of wounds. 6 officers and 69 other ranks had been wounded. 5 other ranks suffered battle injuries. These were the men who paid most dearly. With this sacrifice, the Queen's Own Rifles of Canada reached and held their D-Day objectives. We will remember them.